Back to February 6th, 1788, and James Madison said to us, if angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. Now, I got to tell you, Madison is still alive. And he's alive on both sides of the aisle. And what amazes me sometimes is how we get so far away from what it is that we're trying to do and who it is that we're trying to protect. Now, I've heard the terms that, you know what, we're not protecting those who work for America. Let me tell you about those who work for America. When I come out of my church on Sunday morning out of St. Paul's, the 8 o'clock Mass, I see all kind of people who work for America. When I'm down at the Kmart doing my shopping, I see all kind of people who work for America. When I'm in Erie, Pennsylvania, I see all kind of people who work for America. The same in Meadville, Pennsylvania, and the same in Butler, Pennsylvania. So I'm sometimes confused about who it is that we're trying to protect. And if it's truly those who work for America, it is those who work for America. All these folks behind me work for America. All the people at our homes work for America, do they not? Now, the question is, who looks after those people, those American taxpayers? When there's an abuse, my goodness, have we gotten to the point where our only concern is for those who get a check that says it came from the United States government? I know who funds America. It is hardworking American taxpayers. That is why it's so unbelievable for me to sit here and listen to how we're not protecting those who work for America. This is not about the men and women, the guys and gals that go to work every day for the government. This is not stripping. Now, you know, the ranking member knows that this is not about stripping of their rights. It truly is not. In fact, if you go to page 8, lines 15 through 17, an employee against whom an action is taken under this section is entitled to appeal to the Merit Systems Protection Board under Section 7701 of this title. Nobody is being stripped of anything. What we're doing is taking care of all those people who elected us to come here. And I got to tell you, I wasn't just elected as a Republican to come and take care of only those folks in my district that are registered Republican. I was sent here to represent everybody. I've never ever sat back and said, you know what, this isn't in the best interest of my Republican constituents. It helps my Democrat constituents. So I think, you know what, since I'm a Republican, I'm going to try and game it. I'll spin it. So I can't protect it. I can't vote that way. That's absolutely stupid. And again, how far have we gotten from the initial message of what it is we're trying to do? The Government Employee Accountability Act. You know, when we had the GSA hearing, and the ranking member sat there, and I heard them say to me also, when I said, well, why is Mr. Neely on leave with pay when you know the IG had him under investigation? In fact, you bonused him money for the very same event that you are now investigated. He's being investigated for. You bonused him, and then you let him go home and do what he wants to do. He's on leave with pay. When I go back home, people ask me all the time, when I see their faces, I can't look at them and say, you know what you don't understand is that in Washington, you can do the wrong thing and there's no accountability. Now, if you're back home in the private sector and you do the wrong thing, you're held accountable. See, what you have to understand is you work in the private sector, not the public sector. And they cry out for equal treatment, not special treatment, not to be handled differently than anybody else, but say, you know what, Mr. Kelly, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Should we not, both sides of this aisle, be concerned with what's right for the American taxpayer? Should we not be concerned with what's right for American citizens? Should we not say to these same people who run these agencies, look, we know you don't have the tools that you need, and that's what I was told by the GSA. We put Mr. Neely on leave because we don't have any mechanism to do otherwise. Now, I don't want to keep beating up Jeff Neely, but by the same token, I refuse to keep beating up American taxpayers. If I don't have the stomach, if I don't have the backbone to do what's right, and if I can't walk a straight line when I leave here, this is not about taking the rights away from people who work for the government. Come on, guys, you know that. Oh, my goodness. You guys, we got to get together on this because it's not making sense to me. This looks like the back end of a frat party where everybody's kind of walking crooked coming out, trying to figure out what it is they did for the last 3 or 4 hours. I got to tell you, this is common sense for America. If we cannot protect those who sent us here, if we cannot restore the trust of those who sent us here, if we're to come here and debate and make a mockery and spin it to the point where it confuses the American people, this is not about taking anybody's rights away. This is about reinforcing the responsibility of those who work for the American taxpayer, and that is all of us, both Republican and Democrat. Now, I got to tell you, I've said this before, there's no way I'll ever go back to Northwest Pennsylvania and tell them, you just don't get it. See, the problem with you people, you're so busy working, trying to make ends meet, you don't understand how government works. See, we can twist it, we can turn it, we can say anything we want, and what we ask you is to believe it. You know what the American people are telling us? I don't believe you anymore. I don't trust you anymore. I don't understand why I can be held accountable for everything I do, but other folks that work for me can do pretty much anything they want. And then we'll redeploy them. We'll push them off to another area. They won't lose a penny. And we'll bring them back in under some other title, some other agency. All I want to do is give those managers of those agencies the tools that they have requested of us in Congress. Give them the ability to hold people accountable. Now, who am I talking about? I'm talking about the senior executives. I'm not talking about every gal and guy who walks into an office every day that does great work for the American people. Let's not get confused. So please, don't spin it. My days of riding a merry-go-round are over, and so should yours. We can fix this, but we have to put things in there that make it possible to hold people accountable. The people that raised me, the people that I've worked for, the people that I have played under as coaches, hold you accountable for everything you do. And there are repercussions for doing the wrong thing. You don't give them a pat on the back and say, you know what, go home for a while. Don't worry about your pay. American taxpayers are going to pick up the tab on that. We'll keep you safe. We'll keep you covered. Senior executive. This is the creme de la creme. This is the top of the bunch. This isn't all those people you see walking in and out. I don't want to get it confused with the gentleman with Maryland about sequestration. This is about what's fair for this nation. And I'm sick and tired of having everybody else thrown in and say, no, you don't understand. Let's all put it in a blender, we'll pour it out, and they'll drink it. No, they won't. American people are choking now on the rhetoric that comes out of this House because we don't talk straight. We talk Washingtonese, which nobody understands. We wouldn't allow it in our public sector. We shouldn't allow it here. If it's about accountability, listen, I will tell you what. I would like to see accountability not just in the Government Employee Accountability Act, but also in members of this great legislation. My goodness, if we don't understand what Madison said, and we are truly not ruled by angels, we know that, we are obliged to put in elements that force us, because we won't do the right thing on our own, force us to do the right thing for the American taxpayers and those men and women who get up every day, throw their feet out over the bed and go to work. And you know why they do it? Because they love their families, they love their country, and they know they have to do it. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for allowing this piece of legislation to come forward. I can't tell you how proud I am to be a member of this body. We may disagree on some things, but people tell me, you know, Kelly, the problem is you don't understand. I said, no. The problem is I do understand. I just don't agree. I understand it so well that if we don't right these wrongs, this great, great country will never be what it was supposed to be. And for us to sit here as a body and allow it to happen and say, you know what, too tough a vote. Man, you know, some people are not going to like me for this. I may not get elected the next time. I just say, you know what, get a stomach, get a stronger back, and do what's right for America. This is about what's right for the true Americans that keep this great organization going, and that is the American taxpayer. So having said that, Mr. Chairman, I thank you so much for allowing me to get up to speak. And please, if angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. Isn't it amazing that over 225 years ago, the same thing rings true today? If it were really angels that were running the organization, we wouldn't be having these conversations, and we would just go ahead with every day and think, it's all right. We're not. We're ruled by men. Men make mistakes. Men need to be held accountable when they make a mistake. And I want to make sure that each of us, no matter what party you represent, is able to go to a home district and say, I did what was right for you today. I did what was right for you, your children, your grandchildren. I did what was right for America. With that, I yield back.